Hey everybody, Bird Gutter here. We're here with an interview with Sam Brown, Whitest Kids U Know.
I got a hold of him through Facebook. Cool as hell dude. He responded back right away.
Yeah, so we got this Skype interview, and it's basically 40 minutes of us talking to him, but we kind of wanted to break it up a little bit, kind of wanted to give you a little background information. That's why we're calling this Half-assed and Unprepared Volume 3, because we did another series back in the day,
two series of like this, similar to what,
when we interviewed the Cottonmouth Kings and whatnot.
Right.
This gives you background information on the process and what happened.
Yeah, if you want to see those, go check them out.
And if you don't, who fucking cares?
We don't care.
So anyway, we were supposed to have this interview at 3:30.
But there was a misunderstanding.
3:30 our time, which is Eastern time.
Sam had shit going on, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he misunderstood and thought it was 3:30 Pacific time, which is, 6:30 our time. So we were all ready to do this interview at 3:30 and whatever, but it didn't.
He was really apologetic.
Yes, and we're not blaming him or talking shit or nothing. We're just saying the truth. We were ready to do this interview at 3:30, but when it couldn't happen, we just did our thing.
Yeah,
we filmed one of our shows.
And then just hung out for a while.
And then just sat here and waited for a while.
But
anyway.
He was very apologetic, and I sent a message
he
back.
was
like,
he was nothing but great.
And,
so
dude, he was awesome.
Not saying anything bad at all.
Of course not.
So another little tidbit of information is we filmed it on our TV, on my TV. We just took the video camera and filmed the TV.
I mean, look, from our point of view, from sitting here looking at it, it looked good. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, oh, all right, that works, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the picture looked good, because Sam come up great, and it didn't look bad at all.
But anyway, before we even get to the picture quality, we need to talk about the sound.
Oh.
So, he calls. And
no sound.
No sound.
Yeah. He starts talking, and he can hear us, but we can't hear him.
So he hangs up.
I felt bad he had to keep calling.
And calls again. Once again, no sound.
Then he had to do it again.
Yeah, he calls back on his phone, and now there's sound.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
Alright.
Sorry, man.
This is on my phone.
Okay. Yeah, we couldn't hear anything. I didn't know if you knew what we were saying or what.
Yeah, I could hear everything.
So we were panicking.
So we do our pleasantries.
So how are you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
And then the interview starts. So we're gonna walk away. We're just gonna...
Well, we're not gonna walk away.
No, we're just gonna stop talking and let the interview go for a while until we feel the need to come back in.
We're gonna dance off. I'm gonna jump right in and start asking you some questions. Is that alright?
Sure, yeah.
Alright. First, I want to know what inspired you to get involved in comedy.
I don't think I knew it at the time, but like recently I was hanging out with all my family and with like my extended family and everything like that, and they were giving me crap for every little thing. And it was like this kind of environment that my family had where we were at the beach and I was like, can you pass the suntan lotion? And they were like, the suntan lotion? You mean sun? And like, and I realized like, oh, that's the kind of environment I grew up in where you had to be funny to kind of survive. You had to kind of have quick wits about you to kind of not get put down by your uncles.
Survive sarcasm.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly how my family was, same way.
I think it's hereditary in that way.
I saw an article where you did an interview, and you were talking about your years when you were doing cable access. Yeah, me and my buddy did cable access when we first started out. Your experiences seem to be similar to what we went through. And I was just curious, what was that like?
Well, it was basically me and all my skateboarding friends who we wanted to use the equipment to film ourselves skateboarding, and I was bad at skateboarding, so I liked the kind of videotaping things more anyways. And so we took the classes to learn how to use the TV studio that was in our high school, and it's like a public service kind of thing, so anyone could do it, but no one really was taking advantage of it. And there were some older students that people that were seniors when we were freshmen that would do it, but there's a big gap in between those guys and us. And yeah, we produced episode after episode of content of us just dicking around in the TV studio, but we never really released anything. We made all this stuff and never put it on air, which was funny. But it was fun. It was great. I actually recently found a tape of a local Hyannis band that we had just performing on there, and it's really funny because they were cool. They were like this cool, like, young punk rock band. They were more like math rock than punk rock, and this is probably like one of the better recordings of some of their stuff because it was like not just from like a live show. It was like from a TV studio where they were like a little bit more properly mic'd, and so it had like a really cool aesthetic to the tape. I'm really glad I found it.
That's cool. We basically we filmed it, at our place or wherever we were, and then we would just send the tape in to the school. Like, we never went to the school that we
very rarely.
Yeah, very rarely that we broadcast.
Yeah, it was the strangest setup. I mean, it was for real. We just set it up there, and it just ended up on TV. It was like it never happened.
Yeah, and they would warn us, like, look, we got to start censoring your shit. You can't swear and say, talk about drugs or whatever. But we did anyway. And they let it run anyway. So.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, for real.
Nothing.
I mean, I think when Whitest Kids started making comedy and when we started really getting stuff together, we were doing it in sort of the, like, why not make stuff and why not make stuff ourselves so we don't have to answer to anyone. And I think that's kind of like, that is kind of the principle that a lot of the, like, whole punk movement was based on, and the indie movement. And I still like making comedy with that kind of spirit, is making it for yourself and to make something funny that you think is funny, and to not have to really answer to anyone except your audience, except the people you decide to entertain with what you're doing.
Right. Getting to Whitest Kids U Know, how did you come to get in touch with IFC? Like, how did you get involved with them? Did they come to you, or did you guys pitch to them?
Well, it was a long process because we were with Fuse before IFC, and it was kind of this thing where we weren't sure if we had a future at Fuse, and we had worked with an executive at Fuse that moved over to IFC that we felt like this executive got us and understood what we wanted to accomplish. And she liked us and was able to like carry us over from network to network, which doesn't really happen too often. So I think we're very lucky for that. I love that like we became known as an IFC show. No diss on Fuse, but I think IFC is definitely like has more of a reputation than them,
Yeah. Well, my favorite skit, movie, I guess you want to call it a movie, with Civil War on Drugs.
Yeah.
I have to talk about that because I fucking love that shit. And I watch it, like, all the time. And that's my favorite one.
Well, that's an interesting transition point because that also is something that I think we did in the name of doing it in a way where we really didn't have to answer to people. Because, like, if we wanted to make that, it's an idea we had for a long time, we wanted to make that at that time as a movie, it probably would have been like years of going, pitching it around, and getting the budget for it. And we were told at one point that people don't like making historical comedies and that they don't really work. So we had an idea of what we wanted, and a lot of times it's like it's easier to like believe in your own voice than to try and convey it to someone else, because if you're trying to convey it to someone else, you can often like water down what you want to do.
Yeah.
And so we just were kind of like, we wrote 2/3 of the season and this movie, can we make this movie? And IFC was cool enough to let us make it. And I think the best thing is that when I was writing it, I was like, I know this is funny, I really enjoy this. My one goal for it, though, is that it gets viewed as a singular piece, almost separate from the show, and that's like really how it was received.
Well, that's how I viewed it, as it was a separate thing, and I saw it as a movie. I haven't seen it in a little bit, but IFC took all the uncensored versions off of YouTube, so I can't find it.
Well, I don't know how much we can talk about this, but hopefully we'll there's a whole rights thing with it where hopefully soon we'll have a lot more access to our content in the near future. So something to look forward to.
YouTube has, you ever watch Mystery Science Theater? Did you ever see Mystery Science Theater?
Yeah, my friend Jonah is the new host.
Oh yeah, I just saw a little bit. I just saw clips of the reunion show. I haven't seen it myself, but I missed it when they did it live. But they have all kinds of Mystery Science Theater on there, and I used to go through, I can't remember what site they had that they were distributing all their movies.
Well, didn't Rhino distribute
I think it was Rhino, yeah, and it'd take like 10 years to get one of their DVD box sets, All this time, there was all kinds on YouTube that I could have just saw, so I didn't have to wait all that time. What was the writing process like on Whitest Kids?
It was pretty different than a lot of stuff I've written on since then, where it's like we wrote like almost exclusively in a writer's room style, and where we would collaborate on, I'd say like at least 85%, if not like 90% of the stuff all came from collaboration. Like where we would, and this kind of like originated when we were, after college, we got this opportunity to do a weekly show at a club in New York called Pianos. So we were like a bunch of 20-somethings in New York putting on a weekly sketch show. And what we didn't consider is that you only have like a finite number of friends that you can hit up to like come out to your thing. And so once we did our first show, we realized like, oh, we got to do a show next week. And we need material that wasn't in the show this week, because probably a lot of the same people that are going to come back.
Yeah.
And so pretty quickly we developed this system where we would meet on Saturdays, and we would kind of start off the meeting with like a brainstorming session where we would quietly write down ideas. And then we would go around in a circle and pitch out those ideas and see if anyone had an idea that could possibly turn into something. And one of the things here that like wasn't something that we were initially doing, but eventually we started to do, was we realized that in this process of pitching stuff out, that instead of trying to deny an idea, to be like, nope, that's not a good idea, or no, next idea, like we would listen to everyone's idea and try and be positive about it, try and only like add ideas on those ideas and not try and cut anything down. And what was important about that was like, it's the creative process. You can always in the next phase, like after everyone's pitched stuff out, when you're like, what should we write, be like, I didn't really like this idea. But in that phase of pitching, you just got to be positive and bringing something to the table and seeing where things go. And I think a lot of our ideas had different voices that contributed to it because of that. Yeah, and then so we would come up with a list of ideas and then see what the group kind of gelled with, see what people got excited about, what people riffed on. And then once we decided that, we would just start writing. We would, eventually it became the point where we could like plug our computer into a projector or TV or something and write where everyone can see the document. But we would have one person typing and just like work our way through the script with everyone like huddled around and kind of reading and pitching out jokes and stuff.
Did anybody pitch an idea that maybe like pushed the envelope too far?
Yeah, all the time. That's, I mean, I think any writer's room, you're going to get that. You're going to get something that's like the same with like jokes that people pitching jokes that are bad. An offensive joke is a type of bad joke.
Who came up with Nick a Dick?
That was my sketch.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The thing is, too, is Trevor quit smoking and started doing like the nicotine patch and the nicotine lozenge and all this stuff, and kind of had this idea of like, what's a smoking device that will help you quit smoking devices, like a smoking substitute device.
Yeah. Well, speaking of smoking, you did a lot of, I assume, fake smoking in Civil War on drugs.
Smoke catnip.
Catnip?
Yeah, that's what they use.
What the hell is that, like that, what the hell is that shit, that K2, whatever, kids are blazing up now?
I mean, it didn't do anything. It was just there to like not do anything and look like we were smoking weed.
We do it for real before we film our stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I smoke for real, just not usually when I'm working. So,
yeah, well,
Yeah. No,
it happens. I want to get your opinion on sketch comedy. Like, as of today, what do you think of sketch comedy today? SNL, I guess we can exclude, because my personal opinion, I stopped watching after Farley and Hartman, to tell you the truth. And, they had some people like Will Ferrell or whatnot, But what's your opinion on the state of it in general?
I think it's kind of bigger than it's ever been. And I think a lot of that goes to YouTube, because it used to be that sketch comedy was something that was kind of exclusively for live performances in big cities, where like it was like really just like you'd have like places like Second City and Groundlings and stuff like that doing sketch comedy, and there'd be sketch shows that would come out, like The State and like Kids in the Hall, like they would come like out of like Second City, Toronto, and I forget if that's exactly where, but like come out of these comedy theaters in big cities, and they'd make a TV show, and there was usually only like one show like that on at a time. And now we're at a point where there's like multiple sketch shows and on TV, and there's people doing sketch all over America. There's like, it's a very close similarity between sketch comedy and music, because if you think about it, like music is just like 5-minute bits and sketch is just 5-minute bits, and they're these single ideas and they're all based on rhythm. It's all like creating a game and then resting it, and it's the same as like a hook in a song. And now we're at a point where I feel like how there was like kind of this like indie rock boom where it was like all of a sudden people realized that they could record music wherever in America, and there were like bands popping up everywhere. Or like in the 60s there was this garage rock boom where every region had their garage bands. Now every region like has their comedy groups and their sketch groups, and like you don't have to be that big of a city to have a theater that does sketch comedy in it. And it's really cool. I think right now, what I've been working on lately is I've been teaching a lot of sketch, and I actually the theater that I teach at just launched to go 7 days a week. It's called the Pack Theater here in LA. And I work with a lot of people who want to be sketch comedians, and I've been working with people for years on this that have like started out, been a little rough around the edges, or not really ever written sketch before. And through the years, I've seen some of those people come into their own and be comedians that I outright respect as comedians, that I think can write sketches with the best of them and feel, like honored to collaborate with and stuff like that. Stuff like that makes me really excited about sketch comedy and feel that there is a future. And it's like talking to these people who are younger and who are hungry to do it, and talking to them and having them complain about like, oh, there's a lot of sketches that are like this now. I feel like that's kind of old and easy. It's like, yes, this is how things evolve, and how something really like thrives is that push to be better and push to make things more original, and try not to like rest on any sort of easy answer or any sort of easy cliche. Not like, not just do things for shock value, but have really solid writing behind it.
And thanks to YouTube, they got this huge platform now.
Totally.
Especially people that are doing sketch comedy. Hell, you can do it in a room this size. It doesn't really matter, I guess.
Although, I think there's importance to anyone out there that's trying to become like a YouTube sketch comedian. I'd say try and also figure out a way to do it live to kind of feed what you do, because you don't get the feedback that you do doing stuff on YouTube that you would doing stuff live. And I think there will be a point where you'll like be like, all right, I get it. I think, you need to have that really precise feedback that laughter is, to get better at what you're doing, to be able to notice like, all right, these jokes are not getting a reaction, and I could cut that down and cut that out. Going on and on. But I think both are important, live and video. And YouTube makes that video thing so sexy, because you can do a video and get 5,000 hits, or do a live show for 40 people. But I think doing a live show for 40 people makes you a better comedian.
Well, because you're getting that, like you said, you're getting that initial reaction, figure out what's a hit and a miss. Do you stay in contact with the rest of the crew? Tim, Zach, Darren?
Yeah. Zach and Trevor, I'm going to tomorrow. They both live in LA.
Are you guys...
Darren emailed me about our fantasy football league today.
So up until this point, interview's going pretty well, and there's really no awkwardness or nothing like that.
Well,
if
there is any awkwardness, it's just because of the fact of what I said earlier, is that we don't know each other.
Well, and then there's also a delay, so he's hearing it later than we're, but whatever, the awkwardness does come when birds try to be all funny and be like start talking some smack on Pokemon Go, but that didn't go exactly as planned. It went like this.
Are you doing that Pokemon Go shit? Because I know Timmy was doing, so I don't know, I was getting a notification on Facebook about him doing that stuff. He does the Pokemon Go. Do you do that?
A little bit.
I don't even know where to begin, because I don't know shit about it.
I'm not like super into it, but I'm doing it.
Well, no, I mean like you're not like you hear about some chick walked right into a bus because she was trying to find a Pokemon.
That makes sense.
I didn't want him to think that I was cutting up on Timmy, because I kind of said, Timmy on Twitter talks about doing Pokemon Go. You don't do that shit, do you? You know, he was like, yeah, I kind of like it. And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, never mind. You know, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't get it.
It's fine, dude. You don't have to explain it yourself. It's fine.
Explain my dick away.
So yeah, from that, it recovers and the interview goes on.
Do you guys plan on doing a reunion at any point? Maybe getting back together and doing...
We never really broke up.
Well, I guess I'm not, like, doing that kind of show. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be Whitest Kids, but just doing sketch comedy together again.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're still making stuff together. Trevor, Darren, and I are going to play a show in Bloomington early September. It's September 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, possibly. And, I mean, we every once in a while, we haven't, like, put together a tour in a long time, but we have gotten offers to play, like, colleges here and there, and we'll get together and go perform whenever, you know, like, someone is wanting us to do that.
Did you ever make your way over to Pittsburgh?
I don't think so, actually. I've been to a lot of places in America. I haven't been to Pittsburgh. I've been to State College. I've been to Philly. I've been to, what's the Amish?
Lancaster, yeah.
Lancaster, but I don't think I've been to Pittsburgh ever.
Yeah, you should come down.
Wonder Boys is a good movie.
But, what was that crap one with Matthew Broderick? The one that was filmed in Pittsburgh, the Inspector Gadget.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was filmed. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you can probably, like, not mention to people that was filmed in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, there's many other movies you could bring up.
I know, I probably could. Well, I mean, like, you know, I guess there's The Dark Knight and whatever else. There's been a couple, but, you know, we'll just forget Matthew Broderick for now.
And then, you know, he kind of brings up our stuff, so there's a small section of this interview where we talk about, like, movies we've reviewed and blah, blah, blah. We'll just let it go from there.
What movies have you done lately?
We've done hundreds, but, you know...
You know, last couple of times we did video game ones. People take video games, like old Sega CD games, and they make it into a movie. You know?
Yeah, they take all, like, the cutscenes, like Night Trap or Double Switch or...
Yeah.
Oh, Night Trap, yeah. I've always wanted to play Night Trap.
Yeah.
It seemed very weird.
Yeah, it's not that fun actually playing it, because I remember playing it on the Sega CD, and it wasn't that fun.
So wait, in that game, it's like a sorority house, and there are these guys breaking in, and you're like peeping on the sorority house, and you have to like save the guy, like trap the guys, which is weird, because like, why are you peeping on the sorority house?
Well, there is this whole backstory where it's like, it's not a sorority house, it's like this family house, and the...
that makes it better to peep.
Yeah, some kind of like FBI kind of group is watching this house because there's these vampire type things, and
then as Dana plays.
So you're the security watching through the cameras, you know, plot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're back here again to say, guess what? Sound cuts out again.
I know. I felt so bad. Oh, here we go again, man.
Oh, we can't hear you anymore, man.
Oh, we lost your sound again, Sam.
Yeah, we can't hear you at all.
I don't know what the hell. It just went out again.
And he calls back. Okay. No sound.
No sound.
Again.
I know.
And then he hangs up.
Fucking Skype. This will be like the
how wonderful the internet is until it's not. And calls back again, and this time it works.
I felt so bad. Damn it.
No?
Yes. All right.
But yeah, Night Trap.
Night Trap. What the hell was the other one?
Yeah.
Double Switch.
Yeah, Double Switch, starring Corey Haim with Debbie Harry and Arlie Ermy.
Yeah.
There's full motion video games. Fun.
The guy that put the one Night Trap together did a pretty good job.
What's your favorite worst movie?
I don't know, man. It's so cliche, but it might kind of have to be The Room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that or...
Troll 2.
Yeah, well, that too,
yeah,
but lesser known, what was it? What was the lesser known, the one with Asbestos Felt? The guy that starred in this movie's name was Asbestos Felt. His real name.
I don't remember.
What the hell was it?
Shit.
Killing Spree. It was like a 1980s shot on video, awful but extremely fun movie.
You got a whole list of the shitty ass movies on there. I don't know, like 500 of them or something on your list.
Yeah.
Did you watch, what's the name of that movie? The one with Barry Bostwick?
FDR American Badass?
No, wait, I'm gonna look it up. It's right around the time that Star Wars came out. If you Megaforce, did you watch Megaforce?
Wow,
No, we've never done Megaforce.
No, we didn't.
Oh, gotta see that one. That's like basically like what Team America pulled from.
I don't remember seeing it. I don't know. We didn't do it for the show, but I think I do remember seeing a little bit of it.
Oh, you got it. You got to do Megaforce.
But what the hell,
Steve Agee showed me Megaforce.
There's other ones that people don't really hear about too much. Like Mummy Maniac was a really crap one. That one was terrible, like soul crushing. But there's other ones that are soul crushing.
There are just so many bad movies. So many.
There's a laundry list of bad movies.
What's your guys' favorite good movie?
I don't know.
They're all bad.
Shit, we've been like watching bad movies for so long.
Yeah.
I can't think of any good
I don't
ones.
know. Goodfellas has to be my favorite all-time good movie.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'd have to say Goodfellas or Scarface.
You just stole his answer.
I did kind of. I don't know. I guess Ben-Hur.
So now we get into his thoughts and our thoughts on the movies nowadays, like reboots and just all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of his answers were spot on to what I kind of figured.
Yeah.
How he'd feel about it.
So,
that's how I feel about that shit.
We're just going to let this go, and then we're almost done.
And speaking of
The new
Ben-Hur,
one?
yeah, I would like the old one, yes.
No, the new one.
I was just going to ask you, what's your opinion on rebooting films, especially classics?
Why? That's my first, is why reboot a classic? It doesn't really make sense to me.
Exactly.
I really am not a fan of this whole trend of fan servicing that's going on. I am part of the minority of people that really wasn't a fan of the new Star Wars because I felt like it wasn't its own movie.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just there to be references to the other movies and not really anything happened in it, and they didn't do a good job of setting up any of the characters, and I really didn't like it, and I didn't like how that's what movies are now, or all right, let's do a movie that was something else, and the whole time we'll have these winking and nod moments to the other movies that people are fans of. It's let's make original movies, and I liked Stranger Things, the Netflix series. I was a big fan.
I just got finished watching that.
Yeah, because it was kind of an homage to other things.
Right.
But in its own way, it was original too. So it felt original. I was a big fan of that and thought that was a welcome relief. And I want to see more new, interesting movies. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard Green Room is great. I saw Swiss Army Man. That was really fun. And I'm a big fan of movies, and I just want to see new stories and new attempts at people telling stories, and not these kind of just oh, remember this? This was a thing, right?
Right.
Although I was talking to a friend of mine today about the Jaden Smith Karate Kid and about how that did a good job at being its own movie and having kind of winks to sort of little references to the other movies, but all the references were such a undertone thing to it. It wasn't that wasn't the point of any of the scenes.
It wasn't beating you over the head with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't oh, remember this thing from the first Star Wars?
Yeah, there it is.
That shot served no other purpose than hey, remember this?
You see, that's kind of how I felt when I saw Han Solo, limp his way onto screen. You know what I mean? It was Chewie, we're back, rawr, you know what I mean?
Everything was made with oh man, the fans are gonna love this.
Yeah, right.
We should be making movies for everyone, not just movies to be oh, fans. Oh.
Right. What movie would you really not want them to reboot? Mine is Goonies. I don't want them to try to even a sequel. I don't want them to try to do it. At this point, it would it wouldn't be worth it.
What movie would I not want them to reboot?
Well, Back to the Future is mine.
I'd say Harold and Maude. I could see someone thinking that would be a good idea, and it's I could see that happening. I could see someone be yeah, we're gonna reboot Maude, and it's just kind of. But then again, that wouldn't ruin anything, because if they did reboot that, it probably wouldn't be popular anyways.
It'd probably get as much hate as the new Ghostbusters just got. I haven't seen it myself, so I can't really hate on it that much. But the idea of doing it, and it had nothing to do with the women. I know everybody freaks out and they think it's all about, because it was a woman cast. Everybody goes nuts on you if you have an opinion other than it was great. They go after you.
It was just unnecessary.
Unnecessary, yes.
I mean, that was another movie that I thought really suffered from not trying to be its own movie. And any of the times I was talking to someone where I was like, oh, I didn't like this and this of it, they're like, because in the original Ghostbusters, this is how it was. They're like, well, maybe it was trying to be its own movie. And it's like, no, it really wasn't, because most of the movie is having things little references to the original Ghostbusters.
Right.
But yeah, if people like it, that's fine. But also I think people should accept that some people don't like it. It's, personal taste.
Yeah.
So yes, after an all-day affair for us, Bird runs out of questions.
Well, I did.
And he was hungry, and we just wanted to get the fuck away from each other, so we basically ended it blah, end. So we'll just let the end of the interview play.
Well, Sam, that's all the questions I have. But, hey, I appreciate you doing this, man. I really do.
Yeah.
I got a hold of Trace Ballou from Mystery Science Theater through Facebook. Same thing. I got a hold of Mike Nelson. So thank God for Facebook.
Yeah.
And thank God you were the real Sam Brown. Could have been somebody totally different.
Yeah, it could have been the British pop musician.
Yeah, there you go. That'd have been interesting. Since I have no idea who the hell she is.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Sam, you take care of yourself, man.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me, guys.
All right, thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Yeah, see ya.
Thanks, Sam.
So yeah, that was our interview with Sam Brown.
Oh, no. I was a good time.
Good guy. And,
Oh, yeah.
I would have liked to talk some more and, kind of, not just like interview setting, but, it was what it was.
For
It
us,
was
it
cool.
was getting late,
Well, I'm not really late, but
Later.
I mean, yeah.
But,
Like I said, we were doing this all day.
This wasn't planned for later. It was planned for earlier, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but whatever. It all worked out.
It did.
I'm glad we did it.
Me too.
And now it's done and over with.
And maybe we'll interview somebody else again.
Hopefully not in the near future, because that's more an extra work for me.
Right.
So anyway, if you liked what we do, and even if you don't, check out some of our other shows. They're actually kind of funny.
Even if you don't check out our other shows,
Yeah.
why would they want to if they don't like
Give
it?
us another chance. Join into all the foul-mouthed fun. So anyway,
the harsh language.
yeah,
We use on a constant
basis.
Yeah, do not watch this with your children, is what we're saying.
Well, maybe we should have said that at the beginning.
Well, we're saying it now.
At the end. So for Bird and Gutter,
Now it's too late.
we'll see you later.